Got some information on college football. We're going to talk a little bit more about college football with this alliance with the Pac-12, the Big Ten, and the ACC coming up next hour. But I have some information here that I got over the weekend about this. And if you go back to last month, I think it was July 27th when I got the information that the Pac-12 and Big Ten were looking at some kind of merger or alliance because they wanted to protect the Rose Bowl contract that they have. Now the ACC, fearing of being left out, jumped in. They also aligned with the higher education, with the Big Ten, the Pac-12, from what I'm told, and that's why the Big 12 is on the outside looking in. Iowa State's going to be a good football team. But other than that and Kansas basketball, do you want any of these schools? And maybe somebody picks off some of these schools. Kansas would be the only school that would be interesting if you're the ACC and you can bring them in for basketball. But you just don't want to be left out. And the Big 12 is going to be left out thanks to Texas and Oklahoma. Here's the information I have. Because I was wondering, the alliance, they have to think about the bigger picture here. If the Big Ten, Pac-12, and ACC are going to try to play for a national championship, they want to make sure that there are other TV partners here because ESPN basically owns or is in partnership with the SEC. And they have that until 2025. From what I'm told, that the alliance will attempt to block the college football playoff expansion until 2026 because they don't want ESPN in bed with SEC and then getting the SEC schools to play on ESPN. They want other TV partners in here. They don't want a monopoly with ESPN and the SEC. Alliance wants to maintain normalcy with practical legislation. If they expand the playoffs in 2023, ESPN owns the SEC and the college football playoff. Just something to file away here when we talk about, everybody is trying to, find that seat with musical chairs here. That the alliance, from what I'm told, Pac-12, Big Ten, ACC, want to wait for college expansion until after this current contract expires, and then you're going to have other, TV partners in here. Does Fox pony up? Do you get, Amazon? Do you get somebody else who wants to jump in and be able to carry this? Because you're getting high-quality football games just about every weekend. You're not going to get 1AA. You're not going to get Youngstown State against Ohio State. You're getting good football games every week. And it's going to be a little bit larger NFL version, from what I'm told. That if you get 16 playoff teams and you have 50 schools that are involved in this, it's a little bit larger NFL. And that's the model they're going for because there was a concern that the SEC was going to swallow up everybody else. They were going to say, hey, we're creating our own super league here. But, you want to have your foothold, from what I'm told, with schools in the Big Ten and out west, you want to have your foothold in Texas, Oklahoma, and California. Those are the football-rich states. And everybody wants to have an opportunity in those three states. And if you do this with the ACC and you do this, with the Pac-12 and the Big Ten, you're covering the globe. And it makes them a very viable, strong conference to go against the SEC. SEC can add Oklahoma and Texas. But the ACC, with what they're doing now, you have rivalries that are already built in. You have games that are already built in. And how long are those schedules? There's certain schools that play that school every single year, whether it's home or away. I did ask my source about Notre Dame. And my source said he wasn't sure. He also said, by the way, the only school that's attractive in the Big 12 is Kansas because it's basketball. There's not enough schools there who can create revenue. The state schools don't match up for the Big 10, ACC, SEC, or Pac-12. So that's what's going to be really interesting to find out what happens with the Big 12. You have a lot of these games that, ACC has games locked in with rivals. Pac-12 has that. Big 10 has rivals. And then I asked about Notre Dame, and my source said, I believe that their administration was on vacation last week or school not in session. My source said I'd be surprised if Notre Dame is interested now. Notre Dame's in a great position, possibly down the road. Couldn't see them joining the alliance until after the college playoff expansion in 2026. But once again, the alliance wants to, if they expand the playoffs, ESPN owns the SEC and college football playoffs. And, they want the other networks to bid. The price goes up. NFL style of coverage with multiple networks covering the playoffs. That's what the bigger picture is here. And you might not see that until 2026. Yeah, Paul.
I'm really curious about Clemson because they're such a powerhouse right now. Were they invited? It hasn't, no news really that hard news is broken. Were they invited to join the SEC? Why would they? Why wouldn't they? Because they seem right now to be amongst the top of the heap in college football, and they could do whatever they want.
I haven't heard. I would imagine if I'm the SEC.
Yeah.
I was told the SEC reached out to Ohio State. Some of these blue bloods. I mean, of course you would. Why not? But from what I was told, and this is back on the 27th of July when I gave you that information, that there was the possibility, and nobody was talking about this. We're all caught up with the SEC, and I thought, okay, now what do you do? And that the Big Ten reached out to the Pac-12 to talk about a merger. And I'm thinking, okay, I don't know how that works. And then I think the ACC is going, okay, do we want to join? Can we join the SEC? Or can Clemson all of a sudden secede from the ACC and say, we're going to go on our own here? We're going rogue. I don't know. Like Oklahoma and Texas. But there's a lot going on here. A lot. I love that Penn State's president, I think it's his their president said, this isn't about chasing money. This is about higher education. Right. That's it. That's what you always do. You follow the education, not the money. I was always told you follow the money. But then I'm going to follow the higher education. Okay, yeah, I'm buying into that. Sure. Yeah, Paul.
I wonder if there's been any thought of a SSC, a smart school conference, a bunch of like a Duke football team.
Well, they have the Ivy League.
Yeah, but that's still they're over academic. They don't even have a playoffs.
Well, I would love to see Wake Forest. Some of these Vanderbilt. They should let Vandy into the Ivy League. Put Wake Forest in there as well. Maybe Duke football in there. Yes,
it'd be awesome if that super smart conference only ran like trick plays or something, or plays that were more statistically to prevail and based on the current weather conditions, and there was these unbelievable formulas as to why they ran the ball to the left or something.
Right, the
analytics.
SSC would have just analytics and computers on the sidelines.
Scientifically speaking, this one is more likely
I'm
to.
just saying we're going to run this. It's 3rd and 4 at their 29, and I mean
more
the odds
effective
are,
at that moment.
Of course that is. Yes, McLovin.
Is this a shot at me?
Yes.
There happens to be a Harvard quarterback who's going to lead a team to the playoffs this year in Washington, D.C. So the Ivy League football is strong.
You guys have been just holding on to that. Ryan Fitzpatrick went to Harvard.
Well, you remember Jay Fiedler made the playoffs one year.
Oh,
with Miami.
I know.
It's funny, when we were talking about football schools, I didn't think of a single Ivy League school. I just thought of smarter non-Ivy League football schools.
Jason Garrett?
Yeah.